Find the slope between the 2 points. Identify if the line is rising, falling, horizontal, or vertical. So, many of you probably remember this easily. Rise over run. So we need to know the formula for finding the slope. And the way that I remember it easily is rise sounds like wise. Rise, wise, rise, wise. So that's how I remember rise helps me remember it's the y's. So I need to subtract the y's, and both of these formulas work. So that means it doesn't matter if you start with the first ordered pair or the second ordered pair. So I'm going to use this one here. So I'm going to, this is x, this is y, right, when we have our ordered pairs. So I'm going to go ahead and circle the y's. And the formula says to find their difference. So I'm going to have 5 minus a negative 3 and negative 2 minus 0. So then we would have 8 over negative 2, which is negative 4. So our slope is negative 4. And because the slope is negative, that tells us from the left side to the right side, it's going down like that. So that's what this negative tells us. So that means that the line is falling. So B. Okay, so I say to myself, rise over run. Rise sounds like wise. So I'm going to subtract the y values. These are the y values. So I'm going to do 7 minus 1. Then I'm going to subtract the x values. So negative 5 minus negative 1. So that would make 6 over negative 4. Which a positive, so this is a positive, divided by a negative, tells us that our slope is negative. And 4 can't go evenly into 6, so we're going to simplify it. Divide them both by a common factor of 2. And we get negative 3 halves. So our slope is negative 3 halves. And since our slope is negative right here, that tells us that from the left to the right that the line goes down. So it will fall. Now keep in mind that it's really easy and fast if you want to draw a quick sketch. If I were to graph this problem and I would go over to negative 5 and up to 7, like right there. And then I graph negative 1, so negative 1, 1. And I were to connect them, you could see that the line is going down. So that's a good way to check if your sign is correct. Oftentimes, students see this negative down here and they don't understand that that makes the whole fraction, the whole slope, negative. So it's negative 3 halves. Okay, so if we take a look at C, we're going to go ahead and subtract the y's, find the change in the y, the output, and then 1 minus 1. So 12 plus 3 is 15. 1 minus 1 is 0. And 15 divided by 0, if you put that in your calculator, it will say error. We know from previous math classes that when we divide by 0, we call it undefined. So that is what we say the slope is, undefined. So if we have an undefined slope, it's not going up, it's not rising, it's not falling, it's going to be vertical. So remember I gave you an example in class that if we have a slope that's undefined, if I have a roller coaster going like this, it's really scary. You're going to go undefined as it comes back down. So that's how I remember that a vertical line is a slope, the slope of a vertical line is undefined. Now remember, you can also draw a picture to help you. Create a visual. So if I go to 1, I'd have to go up to 12, somewhere up here. And then if I go to 1, it says go down to -3. So if I connect them, you could see it is a vertical line. So if I were just to graph these points, I can see that it is vertical. Okay, so letter D, we have subtract the y's, so we have 12 minus a -1. Subtract the input, the x's, so we have 12 minus a -1. We'd have 13 over 13, which is 1. So our slope is 1. And since that is positive, from the left to the right, the line's going upward, so it's rising. So we're going to subtract the y's. We're going to subtract the x's. So in the numerator, we have -4 minus a -4. That's 0. -4 minus 6, that's -10. And 0 divided by -10 is 0. So your slope is 0. So don't put none. The slope is 0. So that tells us the line doesn't rise, it doesn't fall, but the line is horizontal. So if you draw a sketch, we can verify this, that it is a horizontal. So if we go over to -4, go down, it looks right there. And then we go over to 6, to the right to 6. Then we go down to 4. We could see if we connect it, it is a horizontal line. Now, if we're thinking about a roller coaster, and we're riding a roller coaster here, right? It is 0 fun. If we're not going up, we're not going down, the roller coaster is not rising or falling, it's 0 fun if we're just cruising along like that. So that helps me remember a horizontal line has a slope of 0.